What's up folks, Old Crunch back again to make some more delicious YouTube content for you. Now today, we will once again be talking about month-old YouTube drama that no one gives a shit about anymore. Because I think the internet's on the right path, but the general community have missed the mark a little bit, and I'm going to add my point. Now you probably looked at the thumbnail, as most people do, and deduced that we are talking today about the I faked my pregnancy bit that a YouTuber by the name of Caroline Constner recently put out. Now I'm going to try to keep clips from these videos relatively to a minimum, but I'll give you a quick rundown of what happened. Essentially, Caroline didn't upload for, I think it was a year or two, uploads a new video, which is seriously incredibly genuine. I'll put a clip here.
I'm 20 years old, and I am figuring out what to do with my life. I want to have a kid, I just don't think I can have a fucking kid right now.
So as you can see, very genuine. Like, if you didn't know about the context of the situation afterwards, you would have no reason to expect that this was fake at all. It comes off as a genuine vlog that someone would upload to update you on their life after they'd been missing from content creation for a few years. Now, fucking fast forward about 2 weeks, and we get hit with this absolute banger. Oh no! And, you know, people weren't chuffed with the message of the video. You know, opening a video that's ostensibly about a very serious topic with a gag about not being able to find the baby in your oven, you know, it rubbed some people the wrong way. And I mean some, because I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, she continues into her 3-minute explanation for the joke. The 3 minutes of university-style essay bullshit. And look, I say that with empathy because I too am a tortured university student, but you know it when you see it.
No, I am not pregnant. And I'm sure some of you are shocked. I'm sure some of you are not surprised at all. I'm sure some of you don't care. But some of you might be asking...
Yeah, seems like a pretty reasonable question in my opinion. Anyway, so she begins and goes into her very bloviated explanation.
Content creator, the line between entertainment and reality is very blurred. Your audience will become very attached to an abstraction of yourself.
Now, during this rant, she goes into try and explain parasocial relationships by using a very horrible example, obviously, like it's horrible what happened to her, but that example doesn't demonstrate a parasocial relationship like she thinks it does.
When I was 15 and I first started making content, I had a lot of people threaten to rape me every day. And if you could imagine, this was not fun. There's no meaningful way to respond to this interaction. The offender has anonymity, and in some way, so do I. So I'm not treating them like a real person. They're not treating me like a real person. You're not real, and I'm not real, and none of this is real. And yet, the effect that we have on each other is still very real.
So yeah, she doesn't seem to realize that there's a difference between being threatened on the internet and having no other context besides that, and then a parasocial relationship where someone thinks they know you intimately. The effect that having death or rape threatened on you on the internet is very real, but it's not parasocial. The person that says that to you doesn't think they intimately know you, they just want to freak you out. Or, you know, sometimes they are just legitimately sick in the head. So she continues on with her little spiel, and then that ends, and she announces that A, she's opening a Patreon, and B, she's returning to YouTube content. Now, I find the series that she decided to return to YouTube with very interesting, because it is a series in which anonymous people write into her and ask her questions about their personal life and get a response from someone on the internet that they do not know. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with this, it's just the fact that when you compare it to the context to the video she just made, it really doesn't sound like she cares about parasocial relationships that much at all, if it benefits her. So yeah, the whole point, the whole justification she sets up is that people connected to something that wasn't real, and that's a joke that's funny for some reason. So I'm gonna just play this last clip, and then I'm going to explain my point in full.
I wanted to come back to YouTube and explain to everyone why I had been gone and what had happened to me in that time that made me want to come back. But some of you in my audience are pretty weird, and I don't blame any of you. You know, you can't help being weird, but I didn't think that it would be healthy for me to expose myself like that to all of you. And that's why I decided to keep a lot of my more sensitive information behind a paywall, where I would hope some of the audience would be more intentional with how they interact with me, because now it costs money to do so.
So much for a quick rundown, but I don't think I have to explain why this is an incredibly... what's the word? I'm gonna use it. Retarded point. The only people that are gonna be motivated enough to get off their ass and pay for content made by you are people who have an unhealthy connection. And before you go, oh, crunch, maybe they just really like the content, they want to financially support it. What content, man? Not only had she not uploaded to her YouTube channel for a year before this happened, since then, there have been no uploads. There have been some Patreon videos that I've heard of. You listen to Carolyn go on her extended English rant, now you're gonna listen to me. So, what do I mean when I say that the internet missed the point of this whole situation? Well, in my opinion, I don't really care about the joke she made. I understand why people were so mad about the subject matter like that. It's a pretty fucked up thing to joke about. But you can tell a funny joke about the situation in Palestine, what's going on in Ukraine, or like the abortion rights situation in America, right? And that can be funny despite the content of the joke, despite the fact that it's a very serious situation. What I'm talking about is that I think when a lot of content creators covered this situation, they missed the forest for the trees by focusing on the outrage of the subject matter of the joke, as opposed to the fact that we're now at a point on the internet where someone will be so desperate to shill some Patreon or some Kick account or whatever that they will not bat an eye at making a joke like this and doing it poorly. It is the greed and the money-hungry nature of this entire situation that makes me think she's despicable, not the fact that she made an edgy joke. And then she tries to pass it off as true art, which is obviously not true. So folks, this is where I was actually going to wrap up the video. I was very happy with what I've said. I was just gonna finish editing it and post it. However, there has been a response. I got good news and bad news. Bad news first up, it is on her Patreon. Even if it's a free tier, I'm not that committed to make a Patreon account, man. Jesus Christ. So the good news is, I have been able to put together a tapestry from certain YouTube videos responding to it, getting most of the main points from the video. So I'm just going to use the footage from that. I will credit the creators that I took the footage from in the description of the video. Please go check them out.
When I was first receiving the backlash, it was very upsetting because there was this pressure to respond to it. Where I'm like, oh my god, people are so mad at me. People are mad at me. They need an apology, because that's what you do when you're a YouTuber. When you've upset people, is you apologize. And clearly, a lot of people are upset for reasons that are completely valid. Then there are people that are upset for reasons that aren't not technically valid because they misunderstood the point of the video.
So this is pretty much where at least I started to realize that there's kind of no getting through to this person. You've had like 3 opportunities to explain the joke and you're still on the people just don't get it, I'm so deep phase.
And in the end, I was just like, man, fuck it, who cares? The only reason why I would apologize for this video is to explain myself, because people totally misinterpreted what I did.
Crazy thought here, guys. She might actually have a point, because her trying to address this has only made the situation infinitely worse. It's just so weird, dude, because she's so close constantly to knowing what she's supposed to do. She was like, oh yeah, you know, maybe I should just say, oh, if the joke wasn't for you, sorry about that. And then she just takes a complete right turn and goes, oh, actually, fuck it. Now, there's no law saying that she has to make an apology. At the end of the day, the internet is the internet and no one owes you anything. But it's the good thing to do in this situation, man. I will say that I think she was framing, again, it's similar to how like people focused on the outrage bait of the whole situation. She was focusing more on the content of the joke for her apology that she was hypothetically going to make than she was the fact that it is, at its core, fucked up to shill your Patreon through a shitty fake miscarriage joke. The greed isn't addressed at any stage. She doesn't care.
It totally makes sense why people would think that this was a sincere attempt at making money, but I don't think that they consider that a sincere attempt at making money would be for me to continue to fake the pregnancy and continue to just like have a baby, just to take videos with a baby and tell people that I was pregnant and that I needed money on Patreon or like GoFundMe or whatever the fuck it was to like take care of baby expenses.
No. Guys, you don't understand. You see, if I really wanted to cause harm to that man, I would have cut his entire body off as opposed to just his arm. Don't you get it?
People that do commentary videos, that made commentary videos about this, they don't care about the truth. They just need something for their channel that week.
Hey! I only upload once a month. Fuck you! Just got a very funny look from the postman outside. Look, I get it, there are a lot of vultures on this platform, including oneself, but they wouldn't be making a video, at least most of them wouldn't be, if there wasn't some kind of content here.
This shit ended up on CBS, which is absolutely batshit crazy to me. The reality doesn't matter. The truth does not matter. The intention does not matter. It's about what was interpreted. It's about what people perceive. And as much as I would love to control what people think, I can't. Yeah, I did something that was insensitive, and I did something that was intentionally provocative. So like I was asking for it, but still, the process of having, thousands of people be like, "Fuck you," and you're evil. It hurts.
Look, I don't think most people are calling you evil. I just think most people think you're a bit of a money-hungry cretin. That's all.
I am not ashamed of what I did. I had my reasons for doing what I did, even if the audience can't understand that.
It's not a phase, Mom.
And I stand by the opinion that art is art.
Okay, so I'm a very open-minded person. 99% of the time, I do agree that anything that is made to elicit an emotional response from someone is generally art. However, this is in the 1% of cases, along with that like 12-month-old who just throws paint at a board, where I genuinely think that this is bad enough to not warrant being called art. It is so poorly made and soulless that I don't think it warrants that title.
This kind of insanity that I am witnessing on the internet, I find it extremely interesting. I find it personally troubling, and as an artist, I just want to poke around.
Okay, so I feel sufficiently molested after that, so I think we're gonna wrap up the video here. Moral of the story, making a fucked up joke isn't necessarily bad. Making a fucked up joke for the purpose of making money and constructing it incredibly poorly is. It's not about the content of the joke, it's about how it's done and for what purpose. Look, I used to be quite a fan of Carolyn for quite a while. It would have been maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Her sketch comedy was really good. And just from that perspective, I want to say, I think that this brand of humor is like a significant step down from that. Maybe it's just my nostalgia, I might be wrong. Life was a lot simpler back when I used to watch her content on the regular, but I think that content handled really touchy subjects far better, especially, like the STD song. The feminist mum video, if anyone remembers that was pretty goated. Most importantly, they were funny and at least were far less ostensibly for clicks and views. There seemed to be a legitimate message behind that. Obviously, I don't know the creative process, but they came off as far more sincere. So, look, that's going to wrap it up. I've rambled on enough. I legitimately tried to think about this content as opposed to the normal low-hanging fruit I go for. And yeah, I think I've made my opinion quite well. You are free to dispute that in the comments if you'd like. But if you enjoyed the video, please like, please subscribe. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
If there's something that you need to say, I know it ain't easy living inside your brain, for sure. You keep telling me that it's